Good evening, everybody. Brian Neubert here from goldenblack.com here in the home medical tent following Purdue's 63 to 61 win at Wisconsin. This is your wrap video. It is brought to you by our friends at the Purdue Union Club Hotel. Mike Carmen is in Madison. He will have our coverage to come throughout the night, but just wanted to cut a quick little video here after Purdue kind of gets back to its winning ways a little bit after clinching the outright Big Ten title via some help from some other people. I'm going to warn you right now, this is probably going to be lacking in some substance here. I dictated a column this morning into my computer, and that took most of my energy for the day, and then back-to-back therapy appointments in the afternoon took the rest of it. So this is going to be a little less engaging than normal, if that's the way you'd normally put it. I have no idea, but I think this was for a win that comes after Purdue already clinched the Big Ten title. I think that kind of says something. I'm always impressed by big wins that teams get that they don't necessarily need. Back in like 2017, whatever it was, that Purdue team had already won the Big Ten championship, and they went to Northwestern, and Northwestern was still trying to get in the NCAA tournament. It was a pretty lively environment. Northwestern really played like they needed the game, which they did, even though they eventually got in the NCAA tournament anyway. And Purdue, led by Caleb Swanigan and Vince Edwards, among others, went in there and won that game after they had won the Big Ten regular season title. I think that kind of says something about teams' competitiveness, things like that. I know that there's other stuff going on here where the last thing you want to do is lose a bunch of games going into the postseason. So there are other reasons to win beyond just kind of personal pride or whatever. But I do think this was an impressive win by Purdue in terms of grinding one out against an opponent that makes you grind it out, and an opponent that, Purdue has struggled to grind it out against. I think Purdue weathered some stuff here in terms of this year's randos being Max Klesmit and Isaac Lindsey, either of which you may or may not have heard of prior to tonight. Klesmit gets 19 points, 7-11 shooting. Isaac Lindsey scores 8 points. If Purdue loses this game, that's the difference. Their randos just flip the game on its side. But I think that, Purdue overcame that. Purdue overcame a lot of stuff that, talking about overcoming it as a positive, shouldn't be construed as suggesting that it's okay for this stuff to go on and that Purdue will overcome it every single time. But, the three-point shooting is for a couple games anyway, is back to like December form. Purdue has this nasty tendency to crater at the foul line here and there, and it has cost Purdue games. It cost Purdue the first Indiana game. It easily could have cost Purdue tonight. That said, Purdue struggles at the foul line tonight. We're centralized with one guy, and that was just a matter of Ross-Ade starting the game slow. He was 1 of 6, I think. Whereas some other games, it's been more of a team-wide thing. But that's something that, you sort of have to keep an eye on for a team that, theoretically draws as many fouls as Purdue does. That could be the new turnovers issue in the NCAA tournament if Purdue's not careful. By that, I mean the thing that rears its ugly head at the wrong time and costs you a game or ends your season or whatever it might be. I just think that, this was probably a very cathartic sort of thing for Purdue, because this was the sort of game Purdue, won every single time in December, for the most part in January. And, at the end of the year, they got it done. And, it would have been the most, had Purdue just won the outright Big Ten title by virtue of Northwestern losing and then Michigan losing, that would have been the epitome of backing into a title. After, Purdue lost to Indiana the other day. But this is something to feel really good about if you're Purdue. Now, obviously, you come home for Illinois with a chance to, really feel good about yourself. Not that I have any reason to think that's an issue. Headed up to Chicago for the Big Ten tournament. This being one of those years where you would just as soon opt out of the Big Ten tournament, because if Purdue has its seed all lined up, I think that Purdue, could use some rest. I think those two freshman guards could use some rest. I think at this point in the season, I'd imagine Ross-Ade could probably use some time in the ice tub, considering how many the equivalent of how many buses he draws the impact of during games. So yeah, that's what I came up with. Um, so this was, I don't want to make this win sound like more than it was. It was, Purdue's better than Wisconsin. They are better than Wisconsin, but they were better than Wisconsin last year too, and they lost them twice. Um, but I think that Wisconsin needed this game a hell of a lot more than Purdue did, and that's not an easy thing to play in the face of. So um, a good sort of competitive moment for Purdue here tonight, and a good game for both for Ross-Ade, despite all the challenges people are throwing at him. Um, the refs have let him rebound again, which is always a positive thing, but also a really good game for Fletcher Lawyer, who I think late in the season people have started pushing him around and grabbing him and stuff, and I kind of figured he'd get that from day one this season. But it apparently took people all season to figure out that we can knock this guy off his routes and things like that, and really hinder his progress coming into those handoffs and using ball screens and things like that. But he's 6 of 11 for 13 points. I do think he has probably been beat up a little bit here the last couple weeks. I'm sure his legs are a little bit wobbly, as is the nature of a long Big Ten season. So for him to kind of catch a bit of a second wind here at Wisconsin, very positive thing. Very, very positive thing. We'll see if he can sustain it a little bit, but he's pretty good even when he's not pretty good. I mean, he's when he's not scoring, he still makes you better, and you prefer he scores like he did tonight. Um, but he's such an important player for this team. You'd love to have him, sort of peaking at the right time here at the end of the year, and he certainly looked like the best version of himself tonight at Wisconsin. Very positive thing, obviously. So that's kind of what I got here. As I said, I'm a little bit drained here, so probably not the sort of high energy kind of wrap up that you become accustomed to. So that said, thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your support. I think I forgot to mention them up top again. I got to stop doing that. Thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials, however it is you process our materials. And I will talk to you again on, is it Saturday or Sunday? I don't even know what day it is. One of these days this weekend, Purdue plays Illinois. So after that, that's when I'll talk to you next. Maybe from the arena, if you can believe that. So thanks, everybody.